What's up, guys? Welcome back to the barbershop. I wanted to make a video. I wanted to chat with you guys about the DLC coming up for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There will be leak discussion in this video, so if you're not wanting to have any kind of spoilers, steer away now. But I don't think we're getting into too many spoilers here. I'm going to cover things that are actually revealed in-game in the Scarlet book and in the Violet book, and then kind of theorize on what we've seen from like data mines and what the community is talking about as far as potential DLC being Kalos. And then obviously Riddler Coup is continuing to put out more information about what we can expect in the DLC as well. There's a lot of talk about the Paradox Virizion or Suicune and Paradox Suicune and Paradox Virizion. So drop a like if you guys enjoy this. Maybe consider subscribing. Let me know. Let's get into it. So there's been no confirmed date yet for a DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but it's essentially guaranteed. We know that in the data mines, there are more Pokemon. And in the VGC screenshots, we see there are more Pokemon confirmed to be in the game code. We know that's coming. We don't know if it's going to be one set of DLC or if it's going to be two, as it was in Sword and Shield. But there is a rumor out that it is going to be one full DLC package that actually is larger than both the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra from Sword and Shield together. So I'm very excited about that. And then of course there is the talk and speculation of, are we going back to Kalos? Are we going to get the open world Kalos? I was of the mind that we are going to be going to Kalos because it fits in so perfectly, right? The Iberian Peninsula, which Paldea is based off of, is connected directly in real life to France, which Kalos is based off of. And as you know, in the game, there's the grayed out area, there's the wall that we can't climb, there's that border all the way out through the water and all along the land. That's definitely connecting to what would be France or the Kalos region. Now, is that going to be the DLC? We don't know. If it is Kalos, are we getting the whole Kalos region in an open world like Paldea? That would be huge. And they maybe, what, $30, maybe even $40 for the DLC for that. And then there's of course really kind of figuring out the true backstory behind the war between Kalos and another unnamed region, which may be Paldea. In game in Paldea, they discuss that that crater was formed, I think, what, like a couple thousand years ago or 10,000 years ago. But one of my thoughts was that that crater was formed from the ultimate weapon that fired from Kalos, and those were the two regions that were feuding in the war. Maybe Az would tie into this. It all seems to make sense, but for some reason, I'm not thinking we're going to get Kalos. It just seems like Game Freak wouldn't give that to us. If they would, it would be incredible, and it would really open up the Pokedex. How many Pokemon are we going to get back? Speaking of new Pokemon, let's go ahead and talk about the two new Pokemon, the Paradox Pokemon, Virizion and Suicune, which are really going to be, I think, a past or ancient combined form of the three legendary beasts, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, and the three Swords of Justice, Terrakion, Virizion, and Cobalion. Not Keldeo. Now, there's been a lot of speculation and a lot of leak. People are pretty sure that Paradox Virizion is going to be a Psychic and Grass type. And there are no Psychic and Grass types currently in the game in Paldea, in the Paldean Pokedex. And there have also been a lot of leaks and discussion about the Paradox Suicune, they're calling it, as being a Water and Fire type. There's also been discussion maybe being a Water and Ice type. It's not confirmed. Could an Electric type fit in there somewhere with Raikou being a part of that? We have seen a confirmed leak that the new move Hydro Steam is going to be one of the signature moves, or the signature move of Paradox Suicune. That looks to be, obviously, it sounds like a Water and Fire typing. Could this even be a signature move that hits with dual effective typing, like Hawlucha's Flying Press, that hits with both flying and fighting? It's not new to the series. It's been done before. It can be done. Heck, we're changing Pokemon types with terrestrialization, so getting a double effectiveness with Hydro Steam, maybe a fire and water dual effectiveness, would be very cool. It'd be an awesome signature move, and it would hit a lot of things in the meta. It wouldn't hit dragons, but it hit almost everything else. Obviously, it doesn't hit water and dragon, but everything else gets hit, I think, neutrally. I'll have to double check on that. As far as Paradox Virizion, we've seen that its signature move is Psyblade, which sounds to be a grass and a psychic type attack, or at least confirming, not confirming, but at least suggesting a grass and psychic type Pokemon. Could it be a dual effective typing attack with Grass and Psychic? Now that's resisted by quite a few more things, right? What's really interesting about these Pokemon is that since they're going to be a Paradox form, probably from the past, and then obviously they kind of branched into 3 to the present time that we are now, the stats will be different, right? And we're seeing that with all these Paradoxmon. The stats are around 570 each. Now, the Swords of Justice, their current base stat total is 580. And I'm looking here at Virizions, and it's got a base 108 speed, 129 defense, but only 90 attack and 90 special attack. But that's different for Terrakion, right? He hits on, like, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play with the stats and how that comes out. What's really also going to be interesting are the abilities that these Pokemon are going to get. Are they going to have the Photosynthesis or Quark Drive? Or are they going to have a brand new ability that is very powerful, right? If these guys are DLC and they were removed from the main game and then put behind a paywall of DLC, they're definitely going to be very powerful. I think definitely in the VGC and in singles competitive meta. But really we can only speculate right now as Riddler Coup continues to drop more and more hints and we're getting closer and closer to DLC. I see them dropping the DLC in 2 different drops, to capitalize on income there. But either way, when we do eventually get Paradox Suicune, if it is a water and fire type, is it going to be as strong or as powerful as Volcanion? We already had Hydro or Steam Eruption, right? Which was it was like a super boosted Scald, a water type move there, which also sounds like a water and fire type Pokemon or a water fire move. And with Paradox Virizion, is it going to be as strong as Celebi, right? Because Celebi has a 600 base stat total with Natural Cure. It can set up Calm Minds, it can set up Swords Dances, it can heal up, it can Leech Seed, it can U-turn out, it can do all different kinds of things. Celebi is a great Pokemon. Is Paradox Virizion going to be stronger than Celebi? And how would Celebi currently fit into the meta right now, being as there are no Grass or Psychic types? Things like Baxcalibur are there, Goldango are there, U-turn is there, Meowscarada, everything's clicking U-turn, everything. How strong do you guys think a Grass and Psychic type would currently be in this current meta? I would maybe speculate that Paradox Suicune would get access to the moves that Raikou and Entei would get. Maybe, what if it could go for Sacred Fire, right? Like Entei. What if it could still go for Thunderbolt, like Raikou? Would it still have access to Calm Mind, like Suicune? And will it be bulky? I'm really curious to see its stats. I'm excited to use it. And I think it's going to be very strong and a very interesting Pokemon. And if it is a fire type, it may still like to run boots. As far as Paradox Virizion, if it is a Grass and Psychic type, it's going to need to be pretty fast. It's going to need to be very fast. It doesn't want to get outsped by U-turners and just, I'd hate to see a DLC awesome. I mean, first of all, let me say these Pokemon are awesome designs, right? To put all these Pokemon together, as you can see, these designs are extremely cool. I'm a Gen 1, Gen 2 lover. To see the legendary beasts all combined into one, this is some playground Pokegod, like, this is a kid's dream, like, right? I remember talking about like combining Blastoise and Venusaur, get like Venustoise, right? And Charizard and creating like these combination Pokemons. They're doing this in real life now. Like, this is no longer playground speculation. And as far as the 3rd legendary, which we know is coming, everybody's talked about the 3rd legendary, the face on the hats in the Scarlet book and in the Violet book, the disc Pokemon, it describes it. It's definitely going to be a very powerful Pokemon. I definitely see it being almost similar to like Arceus in a way, where it's able to maybe change its typing. In its description of it, it talks about it being so bright and maybe not even a Pokemon, and is it even alive, right? As more and more details kind of leak or surface about these Pokemon, it is definitely hyping us up. And I think it's well deserved and due for Scarlet and Violet, because a lot of us are in post game now. A lot of us are just shiny hunting and doing raids. And yeah, the competitive meta is still settling out. There's still being bans in singles on Smogon and Showdown. And on the VGC side, looks to be going very well. Looks very fun. I need to get into some more VGC. This looks really cool. But it's still shaking up. It's very competitive. It seems to be somewhat balanced because everything is so powerful. It's going to be interesting to see the way that these new Pokemon are coming out, how powerful they're going to be, and in light of all the other Pokemon that we're going to get in the DLC. Landorus, Enamorus, that new Pokemon from Hisui from Legends Arceus, all the Hisui in Pokemon, especially Ursaluna, Basculegion, Hisui and Zoroark, an absolute monster looking threat. So with that said, I'm optimistic that these Pokemon are going to be very cool, and I think they'll be very powerful. I mean, just look at how powerful they've made all these Pokemon. The game is doing exactly what I predicted and thought it would do, as well as a lot of you guys, a lot of the community thought that if everything is broken, nothing is broken, and it's so easy for you to just get swept, right? It's kind of having the same effect that Gigantamaxing and Dynamaxing had, right? You get set up and it's over, right? So the competitive, it's really about who makes like one move right first and then can kind of just run away with it. So hopefully it's kind of balances out when they reintroduce all the other legendary Pokemon for Ubers and all those other sub-legendaries and pseudo-legendaries, Heatran, all these things are going to make a major impact on the current meta. As you know, the same thing happened with Sword and Shield, as well as move tutors coming out. A lot of the moves that the Pokemon we have right now, like for instance, Roost on Scizor, right? A ton of things. Defog on Rotoms, right? Are there going to be move tutors? Or are there going to be Pokemon that are getting a lot of their essential moves back that were used in the past? Really exciting. So let me know your thoughts on this, guys. I think that they are going to be very strong. I think that Paradox Suicune is going to be stronger, but I could totally be wrong, right? These signature moves could be base like 140 power with no drawback. I mean, that wouldn't even be too powerful these days compared to what we're looking at now. So let me know what you guys think about this. Drop a comment. I'm going to do another video on this as more info comes out. But for right now, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care and God bless.